Today we're talking about additive and multiplicative relationships. These are probably new words for you, okay? Additive. What do you see in the word additive? Add, very good. Add, right there, okay? It says that the ruler pattern that adds a number to the input, X value, to get the output, okay? Versus multiplicative patterns. What do you see in that word? Yeah, it kind of looks like multiply right there in the beginning, right? So it's the ruler pattern that multiplies the input by the number to get the output, or Y. Okay? You've probably seen these. You just didn't call them that. In elementary school, they were called input-output tables. Okay? So, here, instead of X and Y, what would have gone right here? Input, and the Y would have been exactly. So it's really not any different from elementary. You just have to try to figure out the rule. Now, when you're trying to do this, looking at 0, 0, does that help you?
Yes.
No. Well, I hope you got. I heard no over here. It doesn't help you because you don't know what you did to 0 to get 0, right? Yeah. We got to go somewhere else. Let's look at 3 to 21. What was 7? Times 7. Now wait before you write that down. In order to know if that's the rule, what do you have to do with it? You got to check it and see if it's true somewhere else. 6 times 7 is 42. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So once you check it, you know it's the rule. So it would be times 7. But what I'm saying is back there on the 0, well, anything times 0 is 0. So see, that's what I meant by you can't really look there. So 3 times 7 is 21. 6 times 7 is 42. 12 times 7 is 84, and 15 times 7 is 105, okay? So in this case, when we talk about the rule, we want to talk about an equation, okay? And so the rule was, I don't know if you guys can see this, hang on. Make it a little lighter. Hang on, sorry. The rule, I don't know why that's not changed. So down here, times 7 is, don't write it down, is the general rule. But what we want is an equation. Almost. What equals times 7?
Y.
Y equals X times 7. But the way we're going to write that is like that. 7X. Okay? If you'll remember way back, I mean way like September, when we talked about different ways to write multiplication. Remember, we said we could do like 4 times 5 with a dot, we could do 4 times 5 with the parentheses, we could do 4 times 5 like elementary, remember all that? And then we said you can also put them next to each other, not numbers next to each other, because what does that look like? That looks like 45, so you can't use that, but I said very soon you're going to start seeing them next to each other because we're going to be using variables. So that's just a reminder, when we see Y equals 7X, that means Y equals 7 times X. Okay, good? Okay, and then in this relationship right here, would it be additive or multiplicative? And how do you know? Because we multiply it, that's exactly right. Okay, let's look at the next table. Now again, we are not going this way. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at to get from the input to the output. Input to the output. So what do you see? Okay, so I can see that we added 7 to get here, and in order for that to be true, I got to keep checking it. Plus 7. Is that true? Yes. So let's write that down. Plus 7. Okay. So then for your rule, we're not going to just write plus 7. What would you write? y equals 7 plus what? X, okay? And I would actually put x plus 7, just because we usually put our variable first. Okay? And then is this multiplicative or additive? And how do you know? Because we add. Any questions so far? Okay. So at the bottom, there's 2. Why don't you guys try those? At home, pause the video. Okay, on the first one, what did you guys get? That it was adding 9. So then, oops, I should have written not plus 9 right there. I should have written y equals x plus 9. And then is it multiplicative or additive? Additive, very good. Okay, versus on the one on the right, what's happening? It's doing times 5. So then what was your rule? Y equals 5x. Very good. So it's what? Multiplicative. That's a hard word to say. Multiplicative. Okay, guys, any questions from tables? Okay, great. Go to the next page. Okay, so the first page was all tables. Now we're going to be looking at it on a graph. Okay, so 2 different patterns. On the first one, when it's additive, it says x plus 1. Well, guys, normally in an ordered pair, it looks like x what? Y. That's exactly right. It normally looks like that. So what they've done is they've kept x alone, but instead of y, they're calling that x plus 1. So you can see that it's going to be additive because of this plus 1. Is everybody with me? Okay. So on the chart, if you put in 0, then 0 plus 1 gives you 1, right? Because it's x plus 1. So then on the next one, 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 1 equals 4. Does everybody see that so far? Okay? So your pattern was plus 1 every time, right? Now what we want to do is put it on the graph. Okay? So let's refresh our memories on how to graph, right? What's this one on the bottom? The x. What's this one going up? That's your y. So for the first one, if x is 0, y is 1. So 0 is here. That means I'm going to move 0 horizontally, and I'm going to go up 1 vertically. That's where my first dot lands. The second one, 1, 2, means I'm going to go to the right one and then up 2, and you put a dot. 2, 3, and 3, 4. Does everybody see that? Okay? Then you want to connect your dots to make a straight line, or at least as straight as you can, since you don't have the handy dandy tool that I have. Okay? And now at the bottom it says, notice the line blank blank go through 0, 0. Is it going through 0, 0? No. No. So it does not go through 0, 0. On an additive relationship, it's not going through 0, 0. You guys see that? That's going to be important. Hope you're paying attention. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now it's x, 2x. So again, our x is the same, but our y has now become 2x. Are you with me? So that means when you do your pattern, it's 2x, right? So that means when it was 0, 2 times 0 is 0. But 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. So the pattern was times 2. Okay? Let's go ahead and graph that. So 0, 0 is here. 1, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 6. Connect your line. Okay. Notice about this line. What do you see? It does go through 0, 0. Okay. So on a multiplicative pattern, it is going to go through the origin when you graph it. Does that make sense, you guys? Questions so far? Okay. On the next page, with a partner, I'd like for you guys to do, it looks like a lot, but they're really just kind of spaced out. So you're going to do 1, 2, and 3 with the tables. And then on the following page, you've got 1, 2, and 3 with the graphs. Got it? Okay, if you're at home, pause the video. On number 1 on that page 62, it was times 6 every time. Well, what was times 6? R times 6, not Q, so that's why you had to be careful about that one. Okay? And then on number 1 on the next page, I don't know if you can see what I did first. I marked those two guys out immediately because I knew it was going to be multiplication because it went through the origin, right? So that's why I knew it wasn't addition. So then I came over here and made a table of my x's and y's and went, oh, it was times 4 every time. And then b was the y, so b equals 4 times w. Okay? Go ahead and finish these out. Okay, so we already talked about number 1. Number 2 was B. Number 3 was B. Any questions on 2 or 3? 2 was B, and 3 was B. Okay. Then on the graphs, we already talked about number 1. 2 was B. 3 was B. Questions on the graphs? Okay. All right. If there's no questions, then we're going to play a Kahoot. And then the other page is your homework.